Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome, and why the fuck do I put myself through this shit? That being said, last year I reviewed a film meant for little girls in DC Superhero Girls Hero of the Year. In that review, I made the comment that they are more than likely going to add more sequels to this series, and I was correct. That being said, the only reason I'm even putting myself through this bullshit review is because the person requesting it is like family. That being said, I don't feel like going into details of how this was made. It was made to sell toys. DC Superhero Girls InterGalatic Games. Ah!
In the Barbie world, life is plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair.
We begin with a robot attack on the town's diner as every superhero comes to save the day, during which Wonder Woman's mom calls to talk about the treaty she needs to study for. Batgirl gets the idea to use magnets to scramble the brains of the robots.
Their bodies might be tough to crack, but their technology isn't. They must be powered by computers. And magnets scramble computers. What if we magnetize our vehicles?
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
Batgirl's plan works, of course, as all three robots are taken down. Doc Magnus takes a look at the Platinum robot, and he thinks that we can turn the robots good, but of course, all the robot techs don't agree. We meet Lena Luthor, who acts like a good person, but secretly walks away with the robot. Well, she's a Luthor, so she's more than likely the villain, and I'm gonna spoil it here, she's the fucking villain. Granny Goodness and her team of girls receive a photo of the robots, and we learn that they have a partner on the inside of the academy, before heading back to the academy to see all of the heroes practicing. Wonder Woman checks on Lena, and everything seems to be going the way Lena wants it to, while she cuddles one of the most adorable electric monsters.
Soon, my little kryptonite. Soon.
While Waller and Wonder Woman speak to the ambassador, the ship of Kruger Academy, with the arrival of Blackfire and other villains such as Sinestro, Lobo, and the Red Lantern Bleeze. Blackfire is not as pleased to see Starfire as she is, and in response attacks the integrity of Starfire's school.
Can you fly? Well, no. See, the only thing she's super at is being super boring.
Granny Goodness joins the party and asks to let her school join in the games, and in the sake of what they stand for, the ambassador approves of the request. We jump to the dinner where the Furies taunt Big Barda and insult her for turning on them in the first movie. Starfire once again tries to understand why her sister hates her. They place a bet based on which school will win.
Deal.
But if Superhero High is the victorious, then you shall do what I wish.
What's that?
You will answer my calls and make responses to my e-messages, and like my updates of status on the social medias.
Starfire talking about social media. Never thought I'd see the day for that one. I don't know how I feel. The little green being decides to cause a little mischief by tossing a meatball, creating a giant food fight. During the scuffle, we learn that the being is a kryptomite, and as Frost and Ivy shoot it, creating a pile of goop. The ambassador is embarrassed by the actions of all of the students and vows to stop the games if the students do not behave. We then see how many kryptonite Lena has really made. The games finally begin with a speed race, with the Flash winning the race. Ivy wins the long distance whip, and we get a montage of other games leading to a tie between the two schools. One of the Furies visits Big Barda, and after sweet talking her, gets Barda's fingerprints to set her up for something. But our supers step in to stop them.
Down!
The fight continues and it goes back and forth until the good guys eventually get the upper hand and succeed in defending the school. Wonder Woman is then given what she's been hoping for.
My mom is gonna flip her bananas. Thank you, Ambassador!
I really hope no one flips Hippolyta's banana. Waller goes to destroy the piece that Goodness was after, but Platinum grabs it from being destroyed, and Lena uses it to create the first robot with feelings in Platinum. We then head back to the games where we get a BattleBots parody with Batgirl and Bumblebee eventually becoming victorious. Lena gets a visit from a dark voice and says it's time to deal with the supers before heading back to the games that is interrupted by a building on fire, giving the points to the villains. Blackfire questions why Starfire gave up the games, and we see a girl thank Starfire for saving her father.
Yay! Thank you for saving my daddy. You're my hero.
I'm not crying! You're crying! It's now the final game as our two teams begin to face off, but a robot with Lena in it rises from the ground and Lena tries to convince the audience to help her get rid of the supers. And when they say no, her army of kryptonites begin attacking. Supergirl is in charge of taking on Lena, and we see what Lena's real motive is.
All you had to do was land on Earth to get superpowers. I tried everything to get them. Chemical accidents, close encounters with meteors, genetic mutations. Day and night, I've been working on these kryptonites, even when it was so toxic that my hair...
Bald is beautiful, damn it! Waller tries to convince Sinestro's team to help, but he says it's not their fight, but Blackfire's conscience tells her she needs to help, ignoring Sinestro's warnings of consequences, as she saves her sister herself. All while, Platinum is beginning to understand what heroism really means, and the Ambassador shows how selfish he is as Wonder Woman tells him saving the world is more important than saving one. The fight continues as Lena grabs the little girl and Supergirl becomes useless as she's surrounded by kryptonite rays. Batgirl figures out the way to stop the kryptonites as she gets Frost and Ivy's help, sending one robot down the chute. Wow, cute! Those are some angry little critters. Platinum decides to help just in time for Wonder Woman to help save the day, and during the battle, the robot's arms are destroyed, Wonder Woman saving Lena. Meanwhile, the other girls have begun taking out the kryptonites, but our bigger villain is revealed to be Brainiac, because of course it is, who uses the robots to Voltron himself a body, Platinum being in the center of it all.
I have gathered all the best technology from across the galaxies so that I can rid the universe of superheroes.
Melt my metal.
While Brainiac destroys the city, Lena turns down the chance to help, and Batgirl and Supergirl use their entire arsenal to destroy Brainiac with no success. Bumblebee gives Supergirl a suit to help her with the kryptonite rays, and Platinum becomes fully human and decides that the supers need to combine their powers and volunteers to become the conduit they need, saving the day. Our movie ends ends with Superhero High winning the games due to the Academy leaving. Platinum is shown to be rebuilt and okay, and we end up with Brainiac giving the Supers a warning.
I will destroy those supers.
This movie, not as bad as it looks, but it's still not my personal cup of tea. It's just way too childish for someone who, you know, wears a mask and a cape doing reviews on comic stuff. That being said, my next review is going to be released on a special date. Instead of a typical Sunday, my next review will be released on October 13th. Yes, Friday the 13th. See if you can figure it out. I'm Superhero Critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.